Hi, welcome back to my kitchen. I wanted to do pinto beans today, but guess what? I did not put them to soak overnight. I usually soak them overnight and then I put them in the slow cooker to cook all day long. I forgot to. I still have almost 3/4 of a pan of cornbread that I want to use up. So it's going to be pinto beans tonight, so I'm going to use my Instant Pot. I've done this a few times. Actually, I was quite amazed that they taste as good as they do. They taste almost just like they've been slow cooked. You don't have to do anything with soaking the beans. I basically got 2.5 cups of beans here that I sorted. You want to sort through them real well. You want to make sure you get out any stones, little bitty rocks, bad beans. Sometimes I found a twig in there. So just put them out on the counter, sort them out, then rinse them off, get them really clean, let them dry. And so I'm going to put those in here. It's about 2.5 cups, like I said. And I do have some leftover ham. Usually, my favorite thing to do, especially when slow cooking it, is I get an old ham bone and that I had maybe for Easter or just a Sunday dinner. And I get all the meat off of it, you know, that you'd eat. But then I save the bone and any other little trimmings that are on it. And I put that in and just let that slow cook and get all of that flavor out of the meat and bone. So let me put in this extra ham I had from earlier in the week. It's a nice way to use it up. Get it out of the way. There we go. And it's going to flavor it really well too. I'm also going to put probably, and this is my bacon fat that I store. I keep all my bacon fat. It's just pure gold meat. I got about a little bit more than a tablespoon here. If you don't want to put bacon fat in, you don't have to. If you don't want to have the flavor, go ahead. You can put some kind of oil in there, like a canola or a vegetable oil. You don't want anything like a virgin olive oil because it's got too much flavor. You don't want it to mask the taste of the beans in the ham. Let me go ahead and put this back, and I want to get out one other thing I use. Oops, this one's a chicken base. I want my ham base. I have too many of these. All right. This one's my ham base. I use this better than bouillon all the time. If you don't have if you have something you want to cook for a long period of time, it gets out all the flavors, everything mingles. If you're doing something quick, you put this base in there, it's going to give instant flavor, that umami. So I usually use in this, and it does have salt in it. I didn't get the salt free, so I'm not going to use a whole lot. Just use about that much, a little bit more than about a tablespoon. So we're going to put that in there. I'm going to pepper it and put just a little bit of salt. I'm going to check it again once I get done cooking them. I don't want to over salt them now because I can't take it out. Just a little bit of salt now because of the base has some in it that I put in the ham base, and then we'll taste it when it's all done. Now, water, you want it to be about 1 inch above the beans. So it's going to be different. This one's my 6 quart. Sometimes they use this is my 8 quart, sometimes use a 6 quart. So you just have to put everything in and then measure it. I have 4 cups here. I'm going to pour that in. And it looks like it's going to take the whole 4 cups. Yeah. So it's about 4 cups. So we had 1 bag of beans, and it was about 2.5 cups. And then 4 cups of water. Ham, if you want to put ham in it, bacon. You can put salt pork in it. If you put salt pork in it, please be very, very careful. Do not salt your beans until you taste them, because that salt pork's loaded with salt. I basically, when I use salt pork, I rinse it off, I clean it off real well before I put it in, try to get more of the salt off of it. So, believe it or not, in less than 45 minutes of cooking time, and that is cooking time because it's going to take a little while for this to get up to pressure, but I'm going to put it on main pressure cook, and we're going to cook it for 45 minutes. Start. Make sure everything's closed up there. And like I said, it's going to take about 10-15 minutes to get up to pressure. Then it's going to cook for 45 minutes. Once it's done, we'll do a quick release, get all the steam out of it, open it up, and as soon as I do that, I'll come back and I'll show you what we do from there. I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, we're back. The Instant Pot just went off, so our 45 minutes of cooking time's done. Actually, you can see it's starting to, if you can see it's starting to count back up to 1 minute. So what I do now is I just hit cancel, and I'm gonna release the pressure. If you're a little bit squeamish, you can use a, actually give it a shake. Use a wooden spoon and push it down. Mine automatically catches once I get it pushed down, and it just lets all the steam out. Be very careful because that steam will burn you. That is worse than sticking your hand, I think, on a fry top. So once all this pressure is released, I'll show you what we're going to do next. So I need one thing, actually two. I'm going to get my potato masher here. And the spoon, because we're also going to taste it, see how it tastes. See if we need to add any seasonings to it. I grew up on pinto beans and cornbread. Like I said, my grandfather taught me basically how to make cornbread. In the cast iron skillet, that's the only way I make it. I don't think there was a time that I went to my grandmother's house and grandfather's house up in Findlay, Ohio. I didn't find cornbread on the counter. Normally used to cover it up with a green Tupperware bowl. So you put the plate with cornbread there, and upside down with the corn was the green Tupperware bowl. There wasn't a time I didn't walk in and see that and immediately go over and just sneak a little piece of it. That's the only thing I can say. It was the most amazing cornbread ever. And it's simple. It's just cornmeal, buttermilk, flour, and I put butter in mine, a little bit of bacon fat. So let's see, we're almost released pressure here. They're not going to be nice and thick like if you cook them all day long, but I'm going to show you what I do. I just turn the Instant Pot back on saute, mash it a little bit with my potato masher just to break up some of the beans. That's going to release the starch in them. Once the starch releases, it's going to start thickening up. So when I have it on saute, it's just going to cook for about 20-25 minutes, and that's going to bring all the flavor and all the thickness out in the beans. Sounds like we're just about done. Don't ever try to open your Instant Pot until the small relief valve is down. It probably won't allow you to do it because the pressure holds the lid up and it locks it in place. But sometimes you know that it could be a problem with the mechanism. So as long as you hear steam coming out and that relief valve is up, do not even try to turn it. We're just about done here. I get a little impatient. Push it down, let's get it out faster. Like I said, we used, 2.5 cups of dried pinto beans that I sorted and washed. There's 4 cups of water, a little over a tablespoon of bacon fat. Then I just cut up some extra ham that I had left over, put in there, give it flavor. I don't know if you heard that little click. The relief valve went down, so it means we're safe. Now, all you have to do is give it a twist. When you pick it up, there's going to be a lot of condensation, water up on top of the lid. So I pick it up and turn it and let it drip down in there so you don't actually burn yourself or drip it all over the kitchen. So we're going to lift up the lid, let it go down in there. Let me check out the beans here. And those look great. There's not a lot of sauce in there, so actually I'm not sure that I'm going to need to cook these very long. Looks like they thickened up pretty well, so that got lucky for me. I'm good. I put it back on saute, like I mentioned, and start it. I'm just gonna let it bubble away here a little bit. I will give them maybe 1 mash, maybe 2, just to break it up and get the sauce a little bit thicker. I like my beans in a nice thick sauce. I don't like them all soupy, which isn't bad. But I was brought up on them with a thicker sauce. And as you can see, the ham's starting to break down in there that I cut up. So, in the pieces. This is also at one point, I'm gonna get a different spoon because that spoon is piping hot now. I'm just gonna taste a little broth. They could use a little bit more salt. I do like pepper in the beans. You can hear them, they're already starting to boil. And that's basically because it just got done at a high pressure, so it's already hot. All I had to do is start getting some heat from the element, and it'll start boiling away. All right, so I'm gonna let these sit and simmer for about 20 minutes. When they're done, I'm gonna put them over some of my cornbread. Nice cornbread and beans, put some butter on top of that. It's gonna be an amazing dinner. It's simple, but that's what I grew up with. I think you guys are gonna like it too. I'm sure a lot of you are already doing this. Have a great time. Thank you again for coming to my kitchen. I'll put the recipe, what little of it there is, down in the comments section. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.